So before we go on, I changed up the build a little bit to be a lightweight reverse joint with really low energy drain. So I'll kind of like roll through the parts here. I changed up the head and a couple other parts, changed up the FRS memory. But basically this is just a much higher mobility build with boosters that have lower energy drain, so it's going to allow us to quick boost a lot more, to do more fun things like that. Also went to a higher efficiency over booster, which will actually allow us to use it more often. We're keeping the grenade launcher because that's fun, and then also keeping the handgun, so whenever we run out of grenade launcher ammo, we'll at least have something else to shoot with. I'm not messing with stabilizers yet. And then in order to actually get this to be underweight, since this is right on the nose, I put in 1 unit FRS memory into the leg loading, and then the rest in the energy output for our generator. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go show you some of the different ways you can quick boost. Alright, so as you saw in the beginning, you've got really 4 normal quick boosts, right? So you got forward, back, left and right. Now keep in mind that the game actually keeps track of all these boosters separately for cooldown purposes. So left and right are both on their own cooldown timer. So if you'll notice, whenever I quick boost on the ground, you come to this sliding stop, which gives you really good control and allows you to change direction really quickly. But if you're doing this in the air, you don't get that, and you kind of have this momentum that allows you to just kind of drift around for a little bit. I also noticed that because I'm using the reverse joint legs, I can jump really high into the air compared to everything else that I was using. That's really good for saving energy when you're initially trying to get airborne. I already covered quick turning, but if I'm not moving in any direction and I just try to turn and do a quick boost, and it'll turn me about 90 degrees or so. You can also do this thing called an inertia turn, where if you quick boost, let me see if I can do it. Basically, if you quick boost and then, yeah, I can't do it. I'm terrible at this. You can quick boost forward and then cancel it, and you'll just slide and turn without actually doing a quick turn. And so here's the thing that really like kind of threw people for a loop, especially because it was never explained inside the game. Is there's this thing called second stage quick boosting, where basically the quick boost is mapped to a pressure sensitive button, right? We got the right trigger. But they did something odd where the trigger has a breaking point. Like, I can't really show you, but I'm actually holding my right trigger down about halfway point, and it's not doing anything. But when I get closer to the bottom, then I'll actually start the quick boost. So this is called the breaking point. And if you just mash the button down, you get like a normal first stage quick boost, right? There's this thing called second staging, where if you slowly pull down the trigger, it's a lot easier to see in the air on a side boost. Where you'll get a lot more power for the same amount of energy consumption. You'll get a much larger booster flare, like that. You'll get more speed. It'll sound a little bit different. Alright. And you'll get a lot more travel out of it. You can also second stage quick turns, but it doesn't really get you any more angle out of it, right? You're still going about 90 degrees. That's not like super useful. The big thing is there's basically no downside to second staging because you're using the same amount of energy. It just takes a lot more practice, and you have to actually mess around with your controller in order to make it into muscle memory and actually know what the breaking point is on your specific controller. You'll see some videos where it's actually like their breaking point is at the halfway point. Mine's almost all the way to the bottom, maybe just because it's an older controller, but it's not too bad. So the next thing we'll talk about are quick boost chains or quick boost cancels. So basically, if you quick boost while you're in the middle of a quick boost, it'll change your direction, but it also has a side effect of canceling the cooldown timer for the booster that you just used. So this allows you to do really ridiculous jukes. It also will eat up your energy. But one of the stranger things about it is that you'd normally think that having like a really long quick boost duration might be bad because, you know, it takes more time to get the same amount of speed out. You want one that's really short and then you can just kind of like boost around really quickly. Well, when you have a really short quick boost, it makes it more difficult to chain. So if you have one that has like a really long drawn out quick boost, like most of the Ray Leonard higher performance ones, they're built for speed, you have much more time to actually chain it together. But again, it's going to completely eat up your energy. You can use it for closing distances really quickly. It's mostly used for trying to throw off blocks. If you happen to be fighting a one-on-one against somebody, then it's really useful, especially if they have something like slower rifles, sniper rifles, or bazookas. You can get a hang of their firing timing and just guarantee that every single hit will miss as long as you can kind of get on that rhythm. That's also kind of banking on the fact that they're not, you know, paying attention or varying up their shot patterns and just kind of holding down on the button while they have a lock and shooting at you.